So this video is basically going to be my story on how I became a dental hygienist. So I never really aspired to be a dental hygienist. Like growing up, it was never, I want to be a dental hygienist when I get older. I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do. I actually did want to be a surgeon for a while, but when I had sat and looked at like the schooling and how long it was going to take, it was like, I just didn't really want to invest that much of my life into that. Not saying I couldn't do it, I just didn't know that I wanted to do it. And so I know that I always enjoyed working in healthcare. Like nursing was a really big, like nursing sounded very appealing to me, helping people, just being in that like environment. So that was like at the top of my list pretty much always. And then I heard about dental hygiene and I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. And I looked more into it, and a program close by to me, you know, had a really great dental hygiene program. And, you know, I already had taken quite a few of the prerequisites. And so I kind of was like, okay, let's just go this path. You know, I had just graduated from high school when I was 18, and I was at a community college. And so I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And so I started doing all the prerequisites and I applied for the dental hygiene program. Now, I did not necessarily think I was going to get in on the first go around because I had heard that it's really difficult to get in, and this is like it's a bachelorette program. You know, it's a little bit more dicey, I guess you could call it. But they do take more students than a typical associate's program. So I applied and I got in, which I was super excited about because I didn't have to like put my life on hold. Sometimes I do kind of wish I took like a semester off to just enjoy my free time while I had it, you know. But yeah, so 2020 got accepted, but then COVID happened. And so by the time I actually got to the beginning of the program, COVID was like, it was still a very real issue, but they had a lot more protocols in place to, you know, be on campus, wear the right kind of PPE to protect ourselves. But I will say, I feel like it was a lot more stressful because things were constantly changing. Protocols were constantly changing. They were very, very strict on like infection control, which you should be. But I just feel like it was extremely intense. And so yeah, that's kind of how I got to dental hygiene overall. Was I just did not know what I was doing, and I got lucky, and honestly I love it. Like, of course it has its pros and its cons, but overall I'm very thankful, grateful, and blessed that I even have a job where I can afford to live on my own, like do the things I love. And so I will say dental hygiene is like, as of today, literally, or the last couple days, things are changing, at least in the state of Virginia, which I think Florida already allows this, and maybe a couple other states, but they're allowing unlicensed, or sorry, not unlicensed, but they're allowing foreign dentists to practice dental hygiene in the state. And I think as well as dental assistants, they're allowed to scale above the gum line, which any dental hygienist listening to this, or anybody that knows anything about gingival diseases and stuff, it's like, it makes your ears want to bleed, because that does nothing for a patient. I mean, maybe it gets the calculus off the front, you know, the top of the teeth, but other than that, like, we really need to get underneath of the gum line. Anyways, that could be a whole nother conversation. But this video is mostly about how I got to dental hygiene and kind of where I'm at today. So yeah, I can also make a whole separate video on dental hygiene school, because you guys, it's no joke. It's no joke. I developed a literal anxiety disorder. Why am I laughing? I don't know. I'm laughing off the trauma, I guess. But yeah, developed some mental issues at that time. But I will say, in the end, it was worth it. Zoloft helped me get through. I'm not ashamed to say it. I had to. But yeah, so we graduated from dental hygiene in 2022. Oh my God. It was like the best, probably the best feeling ever. Like, I don't know, like all the hard work, the stress, the emotional roller coaster, it was over. And so, well, not quite, because you do have to go take boards, and you have to take, you know, your state license exam and all the other stuff. which also it costs so much money. So if you're even thinking about going to dental hygiene school, start saving now. Thankfully, I did go to community college and I paid that off while I was in school. You know, I had a part-time waitressing job at the restaurant I worked at for years. So community college was no concern, but ODU, and I did have the GI Bill from my dad's military, so that very thankful, grateful for that. Definitely helped me while I was in the program. And I was living at home paying like a small rent, so nothing extreme there financially, but I do still actually have some student loan debt. Not a whole lot, but I've just been really lazy in paying it off, and so that actually by the end of the year, I don't know if I'll get it done by the end of the year, but hopefully by this time next year, we should be good. But anyway, so that doesn't even matter. I'm probably not going to edit this, so you're going to see like a bunch of funny little clips, but whatever. And so yeah, graduated from dental hygiene 2022, passed boards first try, thank God, because not only is it expensive, it's a pain in the butt kind of a test. You know, you sit for hours, you're being proctored, like the questions, you guys, like I don't even know how to explain. I feel like they weren't even relevant, you know? And that's another thing that kind of irritates me about school in general, is I feel like if you're studying for a specific degree, why do we need to know a bunch of other crap? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff that I think we would have been fine without knowing. I mean, I'm sure there's a purpose at the end of the day, but why pile so much crap into like a short period of time when half of it's not even going to be used in the real world? But once again, another conversation for another day. But yeah, so graduated dental hygiene school in 2022, passed all the exams, got my licensure soon after. And yeah, I went straight to a full-time office up in Roanoke where I was living with my ex. I will say I feel like I burned out kind of quick there because we were seeing like 9 patients a day, 50 minutes each for all patients. And you know, any dental hygienist listening to this in the real world, it's just not ideal. You know, if they're periodontal maintenance, typically an hour is appreciated. If they're a new patient, 50 minutes for a new patient, oh my God, I'm getting stressed thinking about it. So anyways, worked there for a couple years. I loved the office, though. I loved my coworkers. But unfortunately, you know, my relationship didn't work out. So I moved back towards my hometown, and yeah, that's where we're at now. Oh, and now I'm a full-time temp dental hygienist, which basically is like a travel dental hygienist in the area I live. I don't travel very far. I mean, I could, I guess, if I wanted to. There's a whole bunch of like dental hygiene travel programs out there. There's one called, I think it's Team Placement, that I've never worked for them. They're $10.99, but essentially they pay for your housing. You get a bit of like a lower salary because they pay for your housing, but it's not by much. But yeah, so you like live there for a couple months or whatever and go to different states. I wish there was like national dental hygiene programs. Like imagine being able to go to Italy and practice dental hygiene. If they could do something like that, I would sign up so fast, which they should, because if they're allowing foreign dentists to come into our country and practice dental hygiene, then why can't they let us take our license elsewhere? It's not like, and then that gets me onto licensure compatibility or whatever across all the states, because most other, I'm just ranting at this point, most other like healthcare degrees essentially allow you to practice in other states, but dental hygiene you can't. Even though we basically do the same thing, other than like nitrous oxide and local anesthesia, which you have to have separate courses and certificates for that, understandable. Other than that, the majority of our work is standard across the board, so I don't understand why, because that would help the shortage in so many areas. Like for instance, Arizona's got a shortage of hygienists or something. I could just, I'm in Virginia, but hey, I could book an Airbnb for 6 months on the cheaper side and go work in Arizona, and then I would get to explore and do so much other fun stuff. And so I feel like that could actually help the shortage. But once again, it always comes down to money, 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 money. I could sit here and probably talk all day about how things aren't right or the way they should be, but I don't know. Maybe I'll sit on a board one day and be able to make some changes. But anyways, so yes, currently a full-time temp dental hygienist. I love what I do. Temping can be difficult. It's not easy. I was scared when I first started doing it, but I also heard the benefits of it and the flexibility that you get that comes with it, and that I would not trade. The biggest downside though is that typically you don't get any full-time benefits. For me right now, that's not a huge issue as I'm still relatively young. I think I'm still on my dad's dental, which I also don't really have to worry about too much. I've got pretty good home care, I feel like, but let me not jinx that. And then healthcare. Healthcare is the one that gets me though. It's pretty pricey. I'm not gonna splurge and tell you all my finances online, but it hurts every month. And it's like half the time I go to the doctor or something, I still have to pay like $100 as a copay. I'm like, what is the purpose of this? But once again, I could talk all day long about that. Okay, so yeah, I can make a whole separate video about dental hygiene temping, which I kind of want to do anyways, because there's like so much to it, so many pros. There are cons, of course, but that would be something to like divulge into on a whole nother video. But yeah, overall, this was my journey in dental and how I got to dental hygiene. And yeah, the career is changing a lot. So if you find this video, I don't know anybody out there who finds this video that's even looking into going to dental hygiene school, really do your research, because I don't know what this profession is going to look like in the next few years. I do think, you know, dental hygienists will always be needed, so that is not a concern. But I don't know, when I sit here and I think about being a dental hygienist and knowing that other people who necessarily don't have the same education as I do are doing my job, like, that does not make me happy. And I don't know, I can't say I'm not proud, but like, it just makes you feel a certain way about everything. And so just really do your research if you're thinking about doing dental hygiene school. I do think it's a great profession overall. Once again, I'm very thankful, very blessed. And yeah, I guess if anybody has any questions about anything, or if they want a video on something in particular, just comment down below. I would be happy to share my insight, well, maybe not my opinions because it's the internet, but I would be happy to help anybody. And so, yeah, I hope anybody who finds this video finds it helpful, and good luck to you.